Okay, so on to Premiere Pro. I'm using a slightly older version than the one you might be using in September because they will have been upgraded. Um, so there'll be a few subtle differences, nothing major. So if it looks a little different, don't worry about it. The functionality is exactly the same. Okay, so like Final Cut, I'll go over what I've done here. So I've already copied my footage. I'm using the same footage that I did for the account of Final Cut Pro tutorial, and I've already copied it onto the desktop. Okay, that's again so we avoid any offline edits or footage being lost. It's all on the desktop, so if you take the card out, you're not going to lose it or anything like that. Okay, so that's that. Next is how do we find Premiere Pro. So you'll notice on here I haven't got Premiere on my dock, okay, for the Mac. So the other ways of finding it are if it is down there, click on it there, or you can go into Applications, and here it is. Okay, and that's Premiere Pro there, or I can search for it here. Okay, Premiere Pro, or I can go into Go, Applications, and where are you? Premiere Pro. Okay, and I'm going to open it from there. That's opening, so I can close that. Okay, so that's how we find Premiere Pro and open it up. Okay, so this will come up if you haven't done anything yet with it. Okay, so I'm going to go to New Project. That's what you should do if it's your first new project. Give it a name. So this will be tutorial. Okay, my save location is going to be the desktop. Okay, so I'm going to save mine to the desktop. Okay, that. And this is how you set up everything in Premiere. Okay, Final Cut, before it just opened up and it expected to just crack on with it. Okay, this actually will always ask you what settings you want beforehand. And here is what we're actually going to use. Okay, we use digital SLRs. They're the cameras we film on, the Canons and the Nikons. We film in 1080p, well you should be, and you should be filming at 25 frames a second. So we want DSLR 1080p at 25. So just select that. All of the information about that will be here. You don't need to worry about settings. You don't need to worry about tracks. Okay, once you've selected that preset, it's there, and we can press OK. Okay, and that's your Premiere look. Okay, if it doesn't look like this, you can always go into Window, Workspace, and click Editing. Okay, and it will set it out like this. All right. So on to importing footage. Go to File, go to Import, and just like for Premiere Pro, for Final Cut, sorry, go to your, where's my desktop? There it is. Onto your desktop. I've got footage here. I'm just going to pick a couple of shots like before. Okay, let's pick something different this time. That's a different one. Okay, and that one. Okay. Now, like I explained with Final Cut, it doesn't actually import anything. There it is, it's all here. Okay, it just references where the footage is. So if that footage was on a card and I now removed it, Premiere Pro wouldn't know what to do with it because there'd be nothing for it to reference. There'd be nothing here for it to use. So once again, always make sure you're copying your footage onto the desktop. Okay. So here's our footage. Okay. And it works exactly like Final Cut. You double click on the icon, it will open in your preview window. Okay. Now let's save this a second. Oh, it's already saved. We already saved it before. So I don't need to do that. So I was going to save it and then go on to do some basic editing. So I'm just going to go straight onto the basic editing. Okay, so like on Final Cut, there's two fundamental ways of putting things onto your timeline. You can drag it from here. Okay, oh, that's really small. Let's zoom in a bit using this. Okay, there we go. So I'll leave that as it is. Or we can pick particular bits out. Let's pick an interesting shot. Let's go from there. So press I for an in point, just like on Final Cut. And then we're going to go to here. Press O for an out point. Okay, or you can use this in, out, Okay, and then drag from the window, and it'll only take that little section that you've selected. Okay, so let's highlight those. And to render in Premiere Pro, it's not Command R like on Final Cut, it's just the Enter button. Okay, and apparently that's rendered enough. Okay, if you're unsure about the rendering, you can highlight, go up to Sequence, and go Render Effect in Work Area. Okay, now your work area is this grey bar at the top. Okay, so if I move this along, it will only render what's underneath this grey bar. And you can change the length of it using these little buttons at the end. Okay, and you always want to make sure that when you're rendering and when you're exporting especially, that this covers your whole project. Because if it's down here, it'll only render or export this bit here. It won't do anything past this point. So you need to make sure that covers all. So if I go to Sequence, Render Effect in Work Area, that's rendered. Okay. So yeah, they're your two ways of getting footage onto the timeline. Okay.